Have you ever wondered what it's like to grow up when your father is the face on every teenage girl's lunchbox for the four daughters of Davy Jones, the beloved frontman of the Monkees? Normal was a relative term. Did they grow up in a chaotic world of screaming fans and tour buses? Or did their fathers somehow manage to build a quiet bubble of normalcy for them? The story of Talia, Sarah Jessica, and Annabelle is a surprising and heartfelt look at the real private man behind the teen idol image. Number 4. Talia Jones. Born on October 2, 1968, making her the eldest daughter of Davy Jones, her arrival came at the height of Monkees fame. So much so that her dad's teenage fans were initially shocked to learn their teen idol had a wife and baby. Davy had married his first wife, Linda, in secret, fearing fan backlash. When baby Talia's existence became public, some fans were upset that their Davy was off the market. Despite the drama around her birth, little Talia grew up largely away from the spotlight, especially after Davy's first marriage ended in 1975. In childhood, Talia got to see a side of Davy Jones that Monkees fans didn't see. A horse-loving, down-to-earth dad. Davy was passionate about horses, and he shared that with Talia from a young age. I was 2 when Dad started taking me to the pony rides in LA when he wasn't on the road. Talia later remembered a cherished photo on her desk. Still shows tiny Talia happily trotting on a pony with her proud father by her side. These early horsey adventures with her dad sparked a lifelong love in Talia. As she grew, she continued riding and even competed in shows as a teenager, with Davy often turning up unexpectedly just to cheer on his cowgirl. Riding wasn't just a hobby they shared. It was bonding time. Davy, who famously had once dreamed of being a jockey, loved seeing Talia in the saddle. He'd beam with pride, standing by the ring, shouting, "Go get him, cowgirl," whenever Talia competed. Those moments made young Talia feel like the luckiest girl in the world, because to her that encourager wasn't a rock star, it was Dad. Despite having a famous father, Talia's upbringing was surprisingly normal. She split time between her parents after the divorce, and much of her youth was spent in California away from Hollywood glitz. She attended regular schools. She even went to a public high school in Santa Barbara and did regular kid things. Sure, not everyone's dad appears on MTV or gets recognized in grocery stores, but Davy tried to keep life down to earth for his girls. Talia has said they didn't have maids or a spoiled celebrity lifestyle. Chores and bike rides were part of her childhood, not red carpets and limousines. This normally gave Talia strong roots. She learned the value of hard work and developed a genuine love for nature and animals, especially horses and gardens. As an adult, Talia stepped out of her father's shadow and blazed her own trail. Rather than pursue show business, she followed her passion for plants and outdoor design. Today, Talia Jones, now using her married name, Talia Jones Rost, is a successful landscape designer. She studied horticulture and design, even attending college in Santa Cruz, California, to hone her craft, and eventually opened her own landscape design firm. Residing in sunny California with her husband Jay, Rostston Talia has built a fulfilling career, turning ordinary yards into breathtaking gardens. Her love of nature, perhaps an echo of those peaceful times riding horses with her dad, shines through in her work. Clients praise her creative eye for sustainable, beautiful landscapes. Talia finds joy in crafting tranquil green spaces for families, blending artistry with her love of the outdoors. In a way, she's still nurturing life, just as she nurtured those ponies and pets growing up. But horses never left Talia's heart. Even while balancing work and family, she never gave up riding. In recent years, Talia returned to the show ring as an amateur equestrian, riding her beloved horse, a chestnut hunter, aptly named Boss. Now, In the adult amateur hunter division, she competes on California's horse show circuit. Talia calls it an unexpected gift to be back competing after all these years. And you better believe she still feels her dad's presence when she's in the saddle. Before entering the ring, she'll quietly say a little something to Davy, asking him for luck, imagining he's right there, saying, "You got this." Just like when she was younger, she pictures him on the sidelines with that big, supportive grin. In interviews, Talia has shared that she talks to him before a competition to calm her nerves and hears his voice in her heart cheering her on. It's clear that Davy's encouragement lives on with her. Today, Talia leads a contented life far from Hollywood, designing dream gardens by day and spending time with her husband, their dog, a hound she adores, and of course, sneaking in horseback rides whenever she can. She's described her life as revolving around hubby, hound, horse house, and horticulture, and that equals happiness. Number 3. Sarah Jones. Born July 3, 1971, is Davy's second daughter and the youngest from his first marriage to Linda. If Talia's birth caused a stir by the time Sarah came along, fans were slowly coming to terms with their idol being a family man. As a little girl in the 1970s, Sarah also lived largely out of the public eye. After Davy and Linda divorced in 1975, Sarah and her sister Talia were raised by their mom in California. But Dad was always a big part of their lives. In fact, Sarah's memories of childhood sound remarkably ordinary, considering her father's fame. She grew up in a rural part of Santa Barbara County where life was about school friends and farm-style chores rather than Hollywood parties. As a kid, she actually joined Davy on stage in a production of the musical Oliver, the same show that had launched Davy's own career decades earlier. In one production, Davy starred as Fagin, or another role, and young Sarah appeared in the ensemble. It must have been a thrill to act alongside her father under the bright lights. She even dabbled in a bit of acting in her youth, with minor roles in a couple of Nines projects. A blink and you'll miss it part in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, for example, and a small role in an indie film. However, it soon became clear that Hollywood wasn't Sarah's ultimate calling. While she appreciated those experiences, Sarah's true passion emerged elsewhere in the world of design and creating comfortable spaces. Fast forward to adulthood, and Sarah Jones McFadden chose a path that combined creativity with practicality. She became an interior designer, eventually launching a thriving design business. Now known as Sarah Jones McFadden, she runs the McFadden Design Group, a design-build studio. Much like her sister Talia with landscape design, Sarah found she had an eye for interiors, turning houses into warm, stylish homes. Clients describe her as having a great sense of style that balances elegance with livability, no doubt influenced by her grounded upbringing. Sarah's design business has been quite successful, and it gives her a fulfilling outlet for her creativity. Instead of performing on a stage, she lets her artistry shine through color palettes and furniture layouts. And she's not doing it alone. This Jones girl found love and partnership along the way. In 1999, Sarah married John McFadden, and the two settled in California. Yes, not far from the rest of the family in Santa Barbara. Together, they have been raising a family of their own. Sarah became a mother, giving Davy something he absolutely adored, being a grandfather. She has at least 2 children, a son named Harrison, born in 2002, fittingly just one day before Sarah's own birthday, and a daughter named Lauren a few years later. According to Sarah, Davy practically lived for his grandkids in his later years. Not to dismiss anything he felt for his 4 daughters, she admitted, but my dad lived for his grandchildren. Whenever Grandpa Davy visited, he was apparently the silliest, most doting grandfather, crawling on the floor, doing funny voices, and giving pony rides on his back. The man who captivated millions on stage was even more enchanting, singing lullabies to his grandkids. It speaks volumes that despite all his fame, Davy found his greatest joy in ordinary family moments like these. Sarah's life today is rich and well-rounded. She wears many hats: entrepreneur, designer, wife, mom, and also caretaker of her father's legacy. She and her family still live in the Santa Barbara area, which means she's conveniently close to something very important to Davy, his horses. Sarah plays a hands-on role in the care of the retired race horses her dad left behind. More details on that in a moment. Picture Sarah on a typical day meeting a client in the morning to discuss a living room makeover, picking up her kids from school in the afternoon, then stopping by the stables at dusk to feed and check on the horses with hay bales in tow. It's a balancing act, but Sarah seems to thrive on it. She's often said that her dad's passion, hard work, and dedication inspired her not only in the barn, but in life. In 1996, she even shared one of Davy's biggest bucket list moments. Davy, still an avid rider, raced one of his own horses, a horse owned by Sarah in fact, in an amateur jockey event in England, and won. Sarah was there cheering as her father crossed the finish line in first place on her horse. She recalls that moment as exhilarating and treasures the photo of them together holding the winner's ribbon. It symbolized the beautiful intertwining of their lives. Father and daughter, pop star and horse lover, achieving a dream together. Now in her mid-50s, Sarah has truly come into her own. She may not be making headlines, but her impact is felt in the cozy home she designs, the children she's raising, and the horses she's helped save. She continues to work closely with her sisters on their charitable foundation, ensuring that Davy Jones's love for horses carries on to help others. Number 2. Jessica Jones, born September 4, 1981, is Davy's third daughter and the elder of his 2 kids, with second wife Anita Pollinger. When Jessica was born, the Monkees craze of the 60s was long past, but Davy was still performing and making music. Jessica arrived just in time to witness a different era of her dad's career. The nostalgic revival of the Monkees in the mid-1980s. By the time she was a toddler, MTV had sparked a Monkees resurgence, and Davy was back on world tours. In fact, Jessica got to do something her older sisters hadn't. She traveled on tour with the entire family during the Monkees' 20th anniversary reunion tour in the mid-80s. Imagine being a little girl running around a tour bus that also carried Mickey, Peter, and Mike from the Monkees. According to her sister Sarah, when the band hit the road again, Davy insisted on bringing his family along. We would all travel together on the bus, the entire family. It was so incredible for all of us to be together, Sarah recalled. Little Jessica and her sisters were immersed in music and adventure, making memories with their father's zany bandmates who became like fun uncles. Mickey Dolenz tossing the kids into hotel pools for laughs, Peter Torre strumming lullabies on his guitar, and Mike Nesmith playing shy peek-a-boo games. For Jessica, early childhood included this whirlwind of touring backstage passes and bedtime stories told in far-off hotel rooms. It was an unusual start in life, but it was filled with love and cultural richness. In her adult years, Jessica has kept an especially low profile compared to her sisters. She did not seek a public career in entertainment or media. Instead, Jessica's journey took her in a very personal direction: love and family. She eventually married Josh Kramer, and in a decision that might surprise some, she moved overseas to the United Kingdom to build her life with him. Yes, Jessica traded sunny California for the English countryside. Why the UK? Perhaps it felt a bit like going back to her roots. After all, her father was born in Manchester, and Jessica likely spent time in England as a child when Davy had horse farms there. Moving to Britain could have been an adventure and a way to connect with family heritage. It's also possible her husband's work or family ties are in the UK. Whatever the reason, Jessica embraced the change. She settled into a quieter life across the pond. away from the shadow of her dad's American fame. In England, Jessica and her husband started a family. Jessica became a mother to a little boy named Phoenix. By all accounts, Jessica has devoted herself to raising her son and enjoying a peaceful family life. If you're picturing some kind of aristocratic estate, don't. By quiet life, we mean ordinary and loving. In fact, distance hasn't stopped Jessica from being part of the family mission that unites all the Jones girls. When Davy passed away in 2012, Jessica was right there alongside her sisters in deciding how to care for the 15 horses he left behind. Together, they formed a charity to ensure the horses would be looked after. We'll talk more about this incredible effort soon. Jessica contributes to this cause even while living abroad. Whether it's handling behind-the-scenes administrative tasks, helping with fundraising appeals to fans, or simply offering moral support, her sisters have acknowledged that although 3 of us are here in California now, Jessica lives in the UK with her husband and son. So we all share the varied responsibilities. We couldn't do this without everyone pitching in. It's clear that Jessica, though geographically distant, is very much a part of the Jones family team, carrying on Davy's legacy. Today, in her early 40s, Jessica Jones Kramer leads what appears to be a happy private life in England. She avoids public fanfare, so you won't see her giving lots of interviews or splashing on social media, and that's perfectly okay. Not everyone seeks the limelight. Number 1. Annabelle Jones, born June 26, 1988. The youngest of Davy's 4 daughters, Annabelle, was just a little girl when the Monkees had their final reunion runs in the late 90s. In many ways, she had the gentlest experience of her dad's fame. By the time Annabelle was old enough to form memories, Davy wasn't mobbed by screaming teens everywhere he went. He was more of a beloved nostalgia act and a dedicated horseman. This meant Annabelle got a lot of quality time with her father in a relatively calmer environment. And as the baby of the family, she no doubt held a special place in Davy's heart. Growing up, Annabelle spent much of her childhood on the family farm in Florida and visits to England where horses needed tending daily. She has described her upbringing with Davy as an adventure. One day, Dad might be off on tour, and she'd think he was thousands of miles away. Then suddenly she'd be woken up early in the morning. Davy had popped back home unannounced, swooping her out of bed to be his taste tester for some wacky new breakfast creation he cooked up. Annabelle laughs about how he was always trying to invent some amazing pancake or omelet to impress her. And truthfully, she never liked the breakfast inventions, but he never stopped trying. It was these quirky, magical moments that she treasures. Davy dancing around the kitchen or serenading the horses in the stable while doing chores. To Annabelle, he wasn't the cute monkey from TV. He was a magical character called Dad, who could turn even a mundane morning into a memory. With such a creative musical father, it's no wonder that Annabelle discovered music flowing in her veins too. Out of all the sisters, Annabelle is the one most visibly following in Davy's showbiz footsteps. She has grown into a talented singer and songwriter, carving out her own space in the music world. In her late teens and early 20s, Annabelle started writing songs and experimenting with her sound. By 2016, she had released her debut solo EP titled Libel, a collection of alternative pop tracks that showed off her ethereal vocals and heartfelt writing. Songs like I Owe You and Waiting for the Sun revealed that Annabelle wasn't trying to imitate her father's 60s pop style. She had her own modern, edgy vibe. Critics and fans appreciated that she had real talent and a unique voice as an artist, not just Davy Jones's daughter. The EP garnered positive attention and proved that Annabelle was serious about a music career. Creating music also became a form of therapy and expression for Annabelle, especially after her father's sudden passing in 2012. She was only 23 when Davy died of a heart attack, and it hit her very hard. In interviews and reflections, Annabelle has opened up about battling grief and how music helps her cope. She poured her feelings into songwriting. For instance, she's written songs that touch on losing a loved one and finding hope afterward. One of her singles even directly addresses her father's memory, a poignant track where she sings about a hotline to heaven, wishing she could call him just to chat. Through music, Annabelle found a way to keep a piece of her dad alive and to offer empathy to others who've lost someone. One particularly special project truly brought her closer to Davy again. In 2020, a collection of Davy Jones's old recordings was being produced into a new album called It's Christmas Time Once More. The producers had a beautiful idea. What if Davy's original vocals on classic Christmas songs were remixed into duets with Annabelle? And that's exactly what happened. Annabelle stepped into the recording studio to sing alongside her late father's voice on songs like White Christmas and Silent Night. The result was nothing short of magical. Annabelle described the experience as an extremely beautiful and healing experience. Imagine singing a duet with your dad 8 years after he's gone. Hearing his voice in your headphones, blending your harmonies with his. She said, "What a gift to be able to share a moment like this." When the album released, fans got chills hearing Davy and Annabelle together, almost as if father and daughter were sharing one last performance. It was a full circle moment. The monkey who once sang to his little girl now sings with his little girl, creating a timeless piece of music. The album also featured contributions from monkey mate Mickey Dolenz and others. But for Annabelle, it was deeply personal. It helped her feel connected to her dad and introduced her own voice to Monkees fans in a touching way. Nowadays, Annabelle Jones continues to pursue her musical journey. She has an active creative life, writing new songs and occasionally performing, sometimes under just her first name. She's also branched out into some entrepreneurial ventures, hinting at a love for fashion and art, with mentions of her own brand and boutique on her social media. In one social post, she cheerfully notes living a peaceful life in the countryside, crafting things she loves. Whether this countryside is California or perhaps rural England, Annabelle seems to prefer a life that's creatively rich but personally low-key. Much like her sisters, she doesn't chase fame for fame's sake. She could be doing big tours or reality TV to capitalize on her name. But instead, she's releasing indie music on her own terms and living quietly, which is quite admirable. Bet. The world may remember Davy Jones as the teen idol, the face on the lunchbox surrounded by deafening screams. But his truest and most enduring legacy isn't found on a stage. It's found in the quiet of the horse stables and the gardens of California. Talia, Sarah Jessica, and Annabelle didn't inherit the chaos of monkey mania. They inherited the very best of the man, behind the image his boundless love for horses, the value of a normal life, and the power of creativity. From the gardens, Talia designs to the homes Sarah nurtures, from Jessica's quiet dedication in the UK. To the healing melodies Annabelle writes, each daughter found her own unique way to carry on that legacy of love. Ultimately, the story of the 4 Jones daughters is a reminder that even when your father belongs to the world, the most precious legacy he can leave behind is a normal life filled with love.